Hey everybody, Greg from Private Farmer. In this video I wanted to quickly go through your body's microbiome. So what's your microbiome? Your microbiome is basically the over 100 trillion different microscopic organisms and cells that are on and in our body that are helping keep us alive. Everything that you see in our environment basically have microscopic organisms. If you take 1 tablespoon of soil, it'll have more microscopic life in that tablespoon than there are humans on the planet. So that's how prevalent the life forms on this planet are. It's really quite incredible. So the body basically needs these microscopic organisms to do all kinds of different things. And one of the most important things is like processing nutrients from the foods that we eat. And so the microscopic organisms are basically cultures that are in our stomachs, predominantly in our stomachs, which we can basically grow based off of what we eat. So if you're eating a lot of high saturated fats or a lot of sugary things, you're basically creating a culture that thrives in that environment. And so it will actually, they're finding out that it will actually send signals to your brain and your gut to initiate you to eat more of the same thing. So we don't want to do that. If we're eating a lot of high saturated fat things or things that are just not healthy for us in many different ways, we don't want to create that kind of a culture in our gut. That will basically keep sending signals to our brain to keep eating the same thing. We want to basically create a healthy gut microbiome, and there's only 2 ways of doing it. One way is actually doing a fecal implant, and that's what it sounds like. And the other way is eating a large variety of fresh veggies. And so the way to get the best quality microscopic organisms into your body is through living plants, and that's what I have here. So I have the red sail lettuce, leaf lettuce, I have rainbow kale, I have blue curly kale, some collards, and the list goes on and on and on. So at our Come Forage events, basically we'll have all these live plants, all the different selections that we have online, tons of different tomato varieties, and the list just goes on and on. So you basically would go through the plant material and basically forage, just like we would do in a natural environment. And that's how we're actually built to eat. We're not supposed to be, going around and eating, decaying material. And that's what happens. Once you clip one of these leaves, the natural process is for it to start to begin the decaying process. And we don't want to eat decaying material. So some of the green leafy lettuces and veggies that you buy in the grocery store, some of those varieties, they actually lose a lot of their nutritional value within 24 hours of harvesting. And the longer the veggie has been harvested, the more nutrients has actually already been consumed by the microscopic organisms on that veggie. So we want to actually get the highest nutritional value, the best flavor, and the living microbes that are on living plants to actually improve our gut microbiome and improve our overall health. So there's a lot of really fascinating information out there on our body's microbiome and what it's doing for us, and they're finding things like, helping with dementia, because the brain-gut communication signals, when you have a healthy microbiome, that keeps that signaling healthy. When you are actually born, before you're born, you actually have, you're completely sterile, so you have no microbiome. But once you come out of the birth canal, you actually are loaded up with your microbiome from your mom's birth canal. So she's actually passing down her microbiome to you. And what's really fascinating is that they've taken studies in areas that have high obesity, and they basically are correlating the the obesity over the years, how the obesity could be actually attributed to mothers passing down a microbiome to their child, and that child basically having the same microbiome consistency of like the mother. So if she was eating a lot of things that were high in saturated fats or sugars or whatever it is, the baby will have that microbiome load. And they're actually finding like babies that are born through like a C-section will actually be exposed to everything in the room, whoever grabs them, and they'll actually build a microbiome based off of their environment instead of the birth canal, which is they're finding that the C-section babies have a higher tendency to have other health problems because their microbiome is being built instead of given to them. So it's a really fascinating field of study, and it's just now evolving. And so what's interesting is the microbiome will communicate with your gut will communicate with your brain, and so there's all this signaling that's going on with these microscopic organisms within our body. And what I find fascinating is, you have the ability to actually create a really healthy microbiome, and when you do that, you really will experience a whole nother level of both mental and physical health. Our bodies were meant to eat this way, so clipping off the plant and eating it directly, maybe lightly steaming them. This is how we're supposed to eat, and this is how you can actually dramatically improve your body's microbiome. It doesn't happen overnight. It does happen, with consistency. So we always suggest, ordering or growing your own veggies at home, just going out, grabbing a leaf, making sure there's nothing on it, and just eating it. Incredible difference. These are all everything that we grow is organic or non-GMO, and they usually come in these 14-inch containers. Some of the other containers are a little bit larger, 16-inch, and larger for like tomatoes. But the idea is basically the soil that we use to grow our plants is actually we consider like a virgin soil. So when you go to the forest, like a virgin forest that hasn't been harvested originally, then basically the soil has tons of microscopic organisms that are helping keep that tree alive. So like with a redwood tree, it can stand there for 3,500 years and create this whole system of feeding itself. So they'll lose the leaves will go into the soil, the water will help break down those leaves, the microscopic organisms and the fungi in the soil will actually help break down all the material, and it'll just keep going. So as it breaks down, it goes into the soil, becomes finer and finer material, and then the tree can just suck up those nutrients again and keep going. And it adds to, helps the plant retain the moisture in the soil. So that's what we call the mycorrhizae. So the mycorrhizae is actually a fungi and a bacteria that works with the plant to actually pull nutrients out of the soil. So when you have a healthy mycorrhizae in the soil, the plant really does really well, and the efficiency of both of water and pulling nutrients in, and that mycorrhizae basically works with the plant to pull sugars from the plant. So it's a relationship that's as old as time. And that's what happens in virgin soils and in forest and undisturbed soils. So when you have a farming environment where you're putting down, high commercial farming environment where you're putting down, different kind of fertilizers, those fertilizers could actually, damage the mycorrhizae or the fungi or the, bacteria within the soil. And so you're basically just feeding the plant the actual synthetic fertilizers instead of it actually pulling all of the nutrients that are supposed to be in the soil, which they may not have access to because of the tillage and the overuse of the soil. So what happens is when these plants have access to the healthy virgin soil, they're able to pull a lot more nutrients into the plant, and then again you clip it and eat it. So then your body has that, all the living, by clipping and eating, your body has all the living microscopic organisms on and within the plant that will go into your body and interact with your own gut microbiome. So that will actually help you create a healthy microbiome. So it'll actually go into your body and it'll basically create a culture in your gut that will be neutralized in a natural state, which will dramatically improve both your physical and mental health. So we've commercialized all of our food growing and convenience, and we don't have the space and all these other things. But little did we know that it was actually going to cost us our health. And we need to really maintain our bodies. This is all we have. The most important thing is our health. And so, as more and more information comes out, this whole field of study of mycorrhizae and your body's microbiome is pretty new and it's evolving. But it's really funny. They're finding out that it's an incredibly important part of our body's function. You can really notice the difference in your ability to deal with stress. We keep pushing our bodies harder and harder because of these work environments that we're living in, or actual physical environments that we're living in. And if we have healthy food, which is living, non-GMO, all organically grown foods, we prosper. And so, yeah, we can synthetically, pump ourselves up with stuff to keep us going. Our body is incredibly vigilant. But when you like to experience what you're actually the natural level of health that you're actually supposed to attain. So to get there, you need to eat straight from the plant, like Mother Nature's designed us to. This whole trying to cut corners and all that stuff, it's really putting our health in jeopardy. So basically what you would do throughout the week, you go ahead and eat through your veggies that you've ordered online or you picked up at a local market. And then when we have our foraging events, it's a really great opportunity for you to come out and find your new favorites. So we'll have like tons of different varieties, 15 different varieties of kales and tons of varieties of lettuces that you're just not going to have access to in mass markets. And each one of those plants will pull different kind of nutrients from the soil. So we have our rock dust and the soil, and certain plants like more, say magnesium or different things that they each enjoy. So when you go through and you actually clip that and you eat that, or you have the chef prepare a meal for you, you're exposing your body to a new array of nutrients and minerals. So that's what's really great about the foraging events. Not to mention, all of the like tomatoes, like 60 different types of tomatoes that you'll have access to. That's just not available locally in mass markets. And each one of those tomatoes, you can, some are great for tomato sauces or whatever it is. You can just basically look at the menu and decide, what you want to eat, and then go out, forage for everything that you need, give it to the chef. They'll create an amazing meal for you, whether it's a salad, all vegetarian, or if you want, some of the barbecue, which is a really great opportunity to get, all organically grown meats that are butchered for the event. So again, even the meat will not have gone through excuse me, not have gone through the natural decaying process. So you're gonna get freshly butchered meats at the event, and all of the veggies will all either be living, where you can just go out and clip, or if it's something that's already been harvested, it'll be harvested that morning. Like some of the carrots or whatever it is will be harvested that morning for the event. So they're absolutely the freshest thing that you can actually eat. And many people really have no idea what these veggies are supposed to actually taste like, because they've been exposed only to the market veggies. And you pay $5 at a store like Whole Foods for a bag of spinach, and little did you know that was harvested over 1,500 miles ago, and 3 days ago, or whatever it is, and the nutrition has already been zapped out of it by the microscopic organisms and the natural decay process. So this is what you do. You eat up, throughout the week. Even if you just go out and, forage, and you don't create a whole meal, just, enjoy them. And even doing just grabbing and like some people will do this with like a potato chip, just grabbing, a few handfuls of, and then just munching on them, incredibly beneficial to your body. And the living microbes, you really feel it both physically and mentally. And it's a really great opportunity for you to also get access to varieties that you will not have in a local store. So basically you eat up all your veggies throughout the week, and then just like in the old days where the milkman would show up and pick up your old glass container of milk, it's the same idea. So you go ahead and eat up, and like this guy I enjoyed the past week, and this is all a dinosaur kale. So basically, these guys are ready to go. You can clip them off and basically set one on top of another, or just set them out like this. And when we deliver the new shipment that you ordered, we'll just take the old and give you a credit for the soil and the container. So you can apply that credit to your next order, and you just keep going through your week like that. It's a great opportunity for you to give you and your family access to the highest nutritional value, and then really improve your body's microbiome and feel what your natural health state is supposed to be, both physically and mentally. So that's basically about it. So join us for our foraging events. We'll have them throughout the year. It's a really great opportunity for you to find new favorites, and also really improve your body's microbiome by having access to all of those different varieties of plant material. So if you have any questions, please send us an email, and we'll see you at the foraging event. Thanks.